Hi everyone, welcome to our everyday getaway. I'm Chris.
I'm Katrina.
It's so fun.
You're funny.
We're here in Cortez. No, not Cortez. I take that back. Mancos,
Oh
Colorado.
gosh, I'm all confused. Yes, Mancos,
At
yes.
Mesa Verde RV Resort.
That
And
was it.
We wanted to discuss some advice that we can give to those of you who are considering full-time RVing or just RVing in general.
In general.
You don't have to be a
part-time,
full-timer.
Yeah.
No.
Most timers, whatever. Exactly.
Yeah, we're out here. It's a beautiful day. We have Tucker behind us, and we also have flies. So if you guys see us,
See me smacking Chris like
please
this?
be patient with
It's a fly.
They're everywhere. It's insane. We want to take the time to talk about some things that we have learned 9 months on the road full time. We've learned a few things. Katrina and I haven't done a whole lot of how-to videos and upgrade videos because we really haven't done a lot of those things. But one thing we can offer after 9 months, some advice.
Some advice. We're not experts, and
No, by no means.
Please don't think that what we say, is the golden rule.
Or is the end all be all.
Exactly.
Once again, everything
Just
that we
our
tell
opinion.
you or we show you is from our perspective,
Right.
and what we're learning as we continue on this journey. The first thing and the most important thing
What you got?
is the budget. Make sure you try not to have delusions of grandeur about a certain RV. It's easy to get caught up in that, regardless if you want a trailer, a fifth wheel, or a Class A. Maybe scale back on that. Now, look, if you're independently wealthy and you can afford all of that,
Which
go
we're
for
not.
it. We're not. Go
No.
for it. Knock yourselves out. Enjoy. God bless. Try not to get caught up in something new, maybe something used.
Yeah, I mean, and we did, for example, we bought something used. Maybe looking back, we could have got something a little smaller. What do you think?
Yeah, I think, looking back now, 9 months, I could be honest and say something smaller. Our first RV was 31 foot. That probably would have been just fine.
Then there's the other side of it. Do you really know what you're going to want or need until you actually get out there on the road and experience it? So that's another thing. Even as much research as you do, you're still,
Especially if you
it's
have
hit or miss. It's hit or miss.
Especially if you have no experience. So if you have very little of no experience about RVing, you may say, I want a Class A. Then once you get out there in a Class A, you're like, you know what? I think a trailer would be pretty cool. Or a Class C might just work just fine. If you're going to sell everything and you're going to go full time and your intent is to keep things simple, try not to get caught up in buying the biggest and the best.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah, I agree.
Keep that cost down if you can, because you'll be able to
Just do more
save
things.
a lot more money and do more things.
Well, yes, save money, but I guess my biggest thing would be able to do more while you're out there. I mean, we do limit ourselves onto what we do when we do it. We do a lot of things that are free, which, hiking and biking and all that kind of good stuff. But you have to be careful because it adds up very quickly.
The next thing would be budget, and that gets into picking your RV. But now we're going to go beyond that. Try to set a budget and adhere to it the best you can. We're at a campground right now. We've been here 2 weeks. We're going to be here for another 2 weeks. I love the fact that we're staying here a month, and we got a good deal.
We got a great deal. So any campground's going to obviously have a daily rate. Some will have weeklies and some will have monthlies. We were lucky and fortunate that this one did monthly, and it actually was less than, or not quite, a little bit more than the 2 week, and we didn't have to also do the extra electric, because a lot of times they'll give you a rate for a monthly and you end up then having to pay electric on top of that. This one did not do that.
And something else, we got lucky. We were originally going to go out to Moab, and we checked the weather and long-term forecast. You were looking at triple-digit temperatures.
Right.
And as much as we wanted to go to Moab, we said, you know what, let's see if we can come up with something different and find another part of the country to go in. And we looked into this area, and we were fortunate enough to find a place that would take us in for a month and give us a good rate on top of that. We just took a few things into consideration, and we said, let's go somewhere different, and it's paid off big time. That would be, once again, the budget. Adhere to the budget, stay on budget, try your best, get all this organized before you get on the road.
We just under budgeted for what we ended up needing.
we could talk about this now, is your expectations. The expectations about where you want to stay. I'm not gonna lie to you
Sure.
guys. I enjoy staying at RV resorts, and that's just
It's not like I don't enjoy, because I do, but I just know that we can't. So
Right.
I have to be like the bad cop. Chris is like the good
She's
cop.
not the bad
I'm
cop.
the bad
She's
cop.
the
It's
realistic
true.
cop. It's all
Okay.
good. She's right. And you know, for example, this is a RV resort, and it is, and we got a good deal on it. That's not true with every resort. So if your expectations are to stay someplace that has level sites, full hookups, and all the bells and whistles and amenities, you're gonna have to budget for it, and you're also gonna have to understand that it's expensive, and it may not be possible.
And boondocking is not for everyone.
No.
It's not. For us, it's okay a day or here or there, but
I
really,
wouldn't say a day here or there. I'd say even a few, even a week. I wouldn't mind doing boondocking
Oh,
for a week.
really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Well, if
Wow.
you didn't see it, I'll put a link above when we boondocked at the wall. I could have stayed there for a week easy. That's Tucker. So he's out here and he's hearing the other dogs bark. So he's getting all worked up.
He is.
I don't mind boondocking for at least a week, or so it's fine. But
Okay.
there are certain things that come with boondocking that you have to understand. You're not going to be taking showers. You're not going to have full hookups, which is fine. If you have solar, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have solar, and we can't afford to buy solar anytime soon, so that's not going to happen.
Even think realistically that we need solar right now for how we travel. We
No.
don't need it.
No,
It's-
and
yeah.
that would be another thing. Don't think you have to go out and get a solar package, because you have to ask yourself, will you boondock enough to warrant buying it? Because you see a lot of these videos that come out and everybody talks about solar, but boom, you're like, oh my God, I got to get solar. No, you don't. If you have a generator and your batteries, you're fine. You can boondock for a week or even longer.
Well, maybe the best idea would be to go out and find out which way of travel that works for you and that you like best for your lifestyle. And hey, if you guys decide that boondocking is for us, we want to be out there in no man's land away from everybody else, then solar's for you. You know?
Which is another cost. Right, it is.
It is.
It's not cheap.
No, not at all.
There are memberships you can buy that'll help you save money, but many of them there are pros and cons. Thousands Trails is okay, but you're going to come across some Thousand Trails that are just not that great, and that's just
Well-
the reality of it. And then there are some that are fantastic.
And not just that, there are a lot of places in the country that there are no Thousand Trails.
Colorado, there's one.
There's
and
one.
we're going there.
We'll be there in a couple
And
weeks.
I think that's fairly new to the system.
Mhm.
So when you get out west, certain areas, they don't have Thousand Trails. So keep
No.
that in mind when you're looking into a Thousand Trails package.
I mean, this is gorgeous, beautiful country, and it's a shame because, wow, wouldn't that be great if they were out here, but they're not.
Once again, what are your expectations when you get out there on the road? Where do you want to stay? What kind of campgrounds? There are many campgrounds in national parks, dry hookups, partial hookups. If you can't afford to stay at a resort, you're going to have to stay at some place that's like no frills. And that's okay for a lot of people, and it works for us every now and then. But that's another thing to consider.
Sure. Oh, absolutely. Yes.
So what would be some other advice we can give?
Another thing that you guys might want to consider is if you're working from the road and what kind of internet or Wi-Fi service that you need. We happen to get Starlink,
Yeah.
and so far we've used it and we are very, very happy with it. But then again, we don't work from the road, so.
Other than what we do for the channel. So we're not as reliant on connectivity 24/7. So if you're going to work on the road, that's going to dictate where you go, where you stay.
We can say about our experience from using the Camprounds Wi-Fi. So as far as we've noticed so far in all our travels, do not rely on that. It's very, very,
Yeah, I think
it's just don't rely on it. The campgrounds are going to say, we have free Wi-Fi, we have free this, we have free that. Just take it with a grain of salt because it's not very good.
expect the worst, and if you get something better,
Get
then you're
lucky.
happy. Yeah.
Yeah.
So prepare for that. Prepare to find places and pick places that. Now I know a place we're getting ready to go to.
Where?
Blue Mesa.
Yes.
We were told by Mark and Julie from RV Love, who we were lucky enough to meet at a meetup. Fantastic, awesome people. We've
Very-
followed them for years.
Very nice.
They let us know they've been to Blue Mesa, They've
Yeah.
been there quite a few times, and they said the
Yes.
one thing about that site is you have no cell service at all, none whatsoever.
And it doesn't-
AT&T,
Right. Doesn't matter which provider.
right. But he did say
Zip, zip.
Starlink will work there. So that would have to play into your decision on going there. Another thing would be upgrades.
Yes.
We're not big into upgrades. Why? Because we don't have the money to
I was going to say, because we can't afford it.
We've done a few upgrades, a few.
Katrina
And
needs to go back to work.
we've done a few upgrades. We have a GPS system. I can't remember. It's a Garmin, the latest one. It's been fantastic. It's been worth it. It hasn't failed us yet. And we have a tire pressure monitoring system, which, you know, I'll put a link down below. I can't think of the name off the top of my head. It's a very popular one, but it's worked fine. That would be another upgrade. We did get the Wii Boost, which has been kind of a disappointment. You know, for $500
Very,
bucks.
very lackluster.
Yeah, it's not that great, you know, and maybe maybe I'm doing something wrong, but I mean, it hasn't really been, it wasn't worth the $500.
No.
We're just not big upgrade people because I don't want to spend a great deal of time buying all these bells and whistles and stuff like that. That wasn't our intent. Going on the road was to get an RV and then just dump an insane amount of money into upgrades. I mean, it just seems to
I know what we need. We need some kind of bug zapper. So if y'all know about a fly, some kind of fly getter or bug zapper, if you guys have any suggestions, something that you've used, please let me know, because I cannot stand these bugs.
Hold on a second. I have a suggestion. Hold on. Right here. This will
That's
work.
mine anyway.
This is the
okay,
cheapest.
give me that, because they've been hitting your face here.
This is the
Give me it.
cheapest option you can get right here.
Stinks.
This will work. This is just fine.
Here, I'll hold that.
That's all the upgrade
I'll
we
hold
need.
that. Thank you. Yeah. Uh-huh.
It's an upgrade. It's a
Yeah.
cheap upgrade. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah.
yeah, we upgraded to this RV, and this RV pretty much had just about everything we needed in it. That was our upgrade. The RV.
I mean, we could still do some. I would love to have recliners again. So there are some upgrades, but really,
Huh?
are they necessary? No, we don't have really any necessary.
So we've been very lucky. We'll see how that works out in our future travels by the time we get down to Florida for the winter. But we've been very lucky. We've yet to run into and a lot of that, guys, has just been a complete fluke. That would be another thing to keep in mind in your travel. You know, some more advice.
Plan your trip appropriately for the weather.
For the weather.
Because we thought, you know, that Florida was going to be easy and we would be warm all winter, and we ended up going into the panhandle before we should have.
The northern part of Florida.
Keep that in mind.
Yeah, it didn't turn out the way we thought. So plan your, if you want to avoid the heat, make sure you plan accordingly. And we all know that these RVs cannot cool down the way the system in your house can.
Exactly.
Okay, if you're not big fans of the heat or the cold, plan your trip accordingly. And that would be another tip.
Yep.
Plan your trip a year ahead of time. Now, I know there are some people who don't. They wing it. And we've done a little bit of that as well. But I am more of a planning type of guy. I like to have at least 6 months or more planned out. Because you could always cancel. If the places have a cancel policy,
True.
you can always cancel. So it's easier to cancel than to find something at the last minute.
Chris says that's as easy to cancel. So we're out there, Chris, like, oh, just cancel that one, rearrange this. Sometimes it's not that easy to cancel. Chris doesn't really do much of the reservations anymore. He did that first year or two when we were part-timing. But to just cancel something, you have to go back and you have to make sure they do cancel it. Make sure you get your deposit back. You do it in a timely manner. You know, go look at your bank statements or whatever. Make sure they put it back in your account. Then you got to find somewhere else. It can be quite confusing at times if you're canceling too many.
A popular destination is Florida, obviously, especially during the winter. You need to plan well ahead of time. You have to.
Well, that is true. Florida is very tricky in the winter.
You just do.
True.
If not, you're going to end up either not getting a place or going to a place that might be subpar. Can you wing it here and there? Sure, absolutely. There are places you can wing it because there's always Harvest Host, there's always boondocking, there's always BLM land or a rest area. So those things you can do that, but for like if you want to stay at a place for 2, 3 or more weeks, you need to plan ahead of time.
Though Chris saying that, I have found, and we have found, some places last minute, and we've done fine with them. A lot of the resorts we're finding, they do have open spaces.
But
places.
it also depends on how long you want to stay at a place. So you
Sure.
may be able to find a place at the last minute, but they may only have a space available for 3 days.
Sure.
So if you're a full-time RVer and you want to find a place at the last minute or find a place that's going to accommodate you for weeks on end, I think you do need to make plans ahead of time.
And I totally agree with the Florida thing.
Another thing would be try not to be in the vacation mode every day. Good example we've been here for 2 weeks. Most of the time we've stayed here and enjoyed ourselves here. You don't have to go out every day and explore and spend money and go see anything and everything. You can kind of.
We've went out and done some hikes here and there, and we went down and visited some friends, but for the most part, it's kind of just like an everyday retirement mode.
Yeah, it's the same thing. If you were home, if you were home and you were retired, you may not go out every day to a restaurant or something.
I would
there
go
were many
shopping every
days that
day.
would go by. You just hang out around the house. You do stuff around the yard. You just chill out. Maybe the kids come by or whatever. So it's the same thing when you're on the road full timing. Don't feel the need and the pressure to do something every single day. You have time, relax, pace yourself. And that's another thing. Try to find campgrounds and places you could stay for an extended period of time.
I got it.
Any excuse to hit me is okay with her. She's just looking for an excuse.
Next one's on the head, guys.
Your own hands. I am certain that both commandants will welcome such a challenge. Got it.
And stay at campgrounds longer if you can. I love the fact that we're here for a month. I'm very comfortable. Also, understand, be prepared to work on the RV. I'm limited on what I can do. There have been a few things that have come up, 2 major things that I couldn't deal with. So just be prepared to and include that in your budget. We lived in our last house for 20-some years. The last 5 years, I felt like I was constantly working on the house, fix things on the yard or fix things in the house or fix plumbing or electrical in the house. It's the same thing. It's no different.
Well, and I think also you have to keep in mind that no matter what brand or kind of RV you have, they're all going to break down.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter if you have a Tiffin, like we do, a Holiday Rambler, or fifth wheels, whatever,
a Thor.
Momentums, Thors, they all break down. Just be prepared. And actually, I would also say, if you're considering a certain budget for that, double it, at least double it. Because that has caused us to go over quite a few months.
And make sure you have a good roadside assistance program. I don't know, we have insurance. Who do we have insurance with?
Nationwide.
Nationwide. So we're covered there for Nationwide.
It's good.
Make sure you have a good, I don't know anything about Good Sam's because we don't need Good Sam's roadside. But very
Our
simple.
policy is a good one.
Really keep
Do
in
you
mind.
think that people in new time, that they should consider getting different cell phone providers?
Well, once again, that you're going to circle back to what you want and what you need when you're on the road.
Yeah.
We only have one cell phone provider. Could we use a second one? Yeah. We got to make do with what we had. So far, it really hasn't been
Except for one time,
an issue with us.
just once.
Yeah.
And and all these things aren't huge costs, but they all add up, I guess is our point, is that if we did everything we wanted to do and all the upgrades, we couldn't really get that into our budget. So we have to let some things go.
If we don't have cell signal for a week, we just make do. Well, we work it out. As long as we could text. Nobody calls me anyway, so I don't get a lot of phone calls. So the kids are calling her, and if they could text her, that's fine.
If we don't have the service, the phone service, the only ones that can text me and call me, well, they can FaceTime me, are the ones that have the iPhones.
There are many apps out there for you guys to use to help you along the way. We use a few of them. We use
Allstays?
Allstays, yeah.
All
That's
the
our
time.
go-to, Allstays. We
It
use
is.
Allstays all the time. We use it to check out campgrounds, and we've used it for years. I know there are all kinds of apps available. I can sit here and look on the phone right now. Most of them we do not use.
Right? We have them, but we just don't use
Yeah,
them.
we have them just in case, especially if they're free.
You can buy all these apps, you can buy all these accessories. We really, honestly, we might have a larger, Class A, but we live pretty simply.
There's a
You
lot
know?
of stuff to get. It can all be overwhelming. You have to ask yourself, how much are you really going to use it? I don't need to be consumed with. So far, it hasn't really been an issue going from point A to point B with what few apps we've used.
No,
Oh,
I'll
there's-
just pull out the roadmap here soon and
And we've done that before too.
Yeah.
You know, use a road map. So,
Yeah.
you know, there are a lot of apps out there. They're all helpful, but sometimes it can be overwhelming, and you're trying to like, well, maybe I should use this app for that, this app for that. We found that All Stays is a nice, decent app. We use the Loves app. We do use the Open Road app.
How about Windy? We don't use that hardly ever. We've used it probably
We use Windy a little
handful
bit.
of times.
A little bit. The Harvest Host app we use.
I use that all the time.
You know,
Thousand
like
Trails
for
app.
example, I'll give you an example. The RV Dumps app. It's a fine app, but we've never run into a problem where we needed to dump. So and usually you can kind of, I think All Stays will help you out with that as well. There's just so many apps. I'm not saying they're not great, and I know people use them and they work and they're fantastic, but you don't need to get all these apps. Just basic, simple stuff.
People
Keep it simple.
People are not going to like you saying that.
Well, I'm not trying to offend anyone. I'm just based on our experience. We really haven't used a lot of apps. I think we've managed to get by with All Stays. Don't be afraid to stay at the Walmarts, at the Cracker Barrels, at Cabela's, at the Bass Pro. We stayed at don't be afraid to stay there. I mean, if you get to, I mean, I just was reading an article recently about a woman who's suing Walmart. There was a guy who set up at Walmart parking lot, but he got his stove out and he cooked breakfast and he put the stove on the back of the vehicle, and he didn't allow it to cool off, and he put some material on top of it, and he parked next to a vehicle, and in the vehicle was two girls, a 6-year-old, 9-year-old. The mother was inside the Walmart. Why she left them out there, I couldn't tell you. His vehicle caught fire because of the stove, and it spread to their vehicle, and unfortunately, her 6-year-old daughter passed away, and her 9-year-old daughter was disfigured. So she's suing Walmart. But in the article stated that it's gotten to about 53%, give or take, of the Walmarts that will allow you to camp overnight. So that's where it's getting harder and harder to find Walmarts to stay at overnight. But the vast majority of our experience, Walmart has been fine. Pull over off to the side, go inside, make sure it's okay, and we're off. And it hasn't been much of an issue. Cracker Barrel's our favorite. Well, you know,
especially
we like
Wednesday nights. I like Wednesday nights.
Yeah, we've never had it. One time Cracker Barrel turned us away, but they told us go right up to the road to the Bass Pro, and they allow it. You get to the Bass Pro, and there were already RVers out there, and it was a huge parking lot. So don't be afraid to park over. It's not that bad. We've yet to have an issue or a problem, wouldn't you say?
We haven't, but I mean, we're always aware that we could. So, you know, we keep it in mind.
Yeah, so these are some of the things that we've learned. Once again, we're still, I would still say we're rookies.
We are, because, I mean, we haven't even been doing this a year yet.
Yeah, no.
Full time.
And we're learning, and that's why you don't see a lot of videos from us about upgrades and how-to stuff, because we're still learning, and I'm not comfortable telling someone what to do when
he tells me what to do all the time.
She cut me off.
Please.
I'm not comfortable telling them what to do in the RV lifestyle when I'm still learning. But when I learn something, I'm more than willing to pass it on. So as we learn and we garner experience, we'll do more videos where we mostly though
so Chris can tell you what to do. You guys can feel my pain. You'll feel my pain.
I could tell her what to do, but she doesn't listen. No, she doesn't listen.
You know, I'm a grown adult.
See? No. Those are the things that we've learned on the road so far. Hopefully this will help you out. If you have any questions or you have any comments, leave them down below. If there's anything, any advice or comments you could leave that would help us out, like how to get rid of flies.
Oh, now you want to get rid of the flies. See, earlier, it's not a big deal. Here, get one of these, Katrina.
I was trying to look out for her.
Yeah.
You know? I was just trying to help. Leave a comment down below. Tell us what you think. If this is the first time you've been here to the channel, we hope you enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed the content, and you'll consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell and give us a thumbs up. For those of you who are subscribers and who continue to support us, we really appreciate it very much. It's still a learning process for us. If you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. If you don't like the video, you can give us a thumbs down. You know who you are, and that's good because it helps out the channel regardless. It doesn't matter.
It's true. And we know the thumbs down's for Chris, right?
It's okay.
Right?
I've been getting thumbs down all my life, starting with her, so it's all good.
Oh, jeez.
Remember,
Any day you can get away
is
a great day.
Thanks for joining us, guys. You guys take care, and we hope to see you on the road.
See y'all.
Bye.
Bye.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to... Hi, everyone. Welcome to our...
Stick by that. He gets an attitude and has a problem with it.
Yeah, my attitude's always pleasant. Always.
Okay, hold on. A bug just flew in my eye. Okay, try that again.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our everyday getaway. I'm Chris.
I'm Katrina.
And let's take a minute to talk about... I don't know.
I know we don't.
You told me to say that. Now I don't
I
know
know.
what to say.
We don't know what we were going to call it.
A mess?
No. And these flies are just getting on my nerves. Sorry.
I wish we could, for example...
See that? Whack.
The battery died on us.
What?
Unprepared.
He's the director. That's what he tells me all the time. I'm the director.
Well, you know, Spielberg and Lucas, they had it tough back in their day,
Please.
and Scorsese and all those guys, so.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
You're
else?
flicking him over towards me. Get. Oh.